Good evening, folks. This is Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Hump Day. Yes, happy Hump Day. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Allergies. Good evening, folks. How you doing? I'm Freddy Vazquez. A little bit informal today. I need a haircut. Anyway, I wanted to just come on, say happy Hump Day, talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I've been speaking about and having some time to digest it. I said a mouthful yesterday, right? In regards to Nader Sage and the Sage family, I'm working on a podcast that I hope to bring this Sunday, hopefully between 8 or 9 o'clock on the on Nader Sage and the Sage family. There's a lot here, a lot of information that I have uncovered. Also, information that has been now coming to me from sources. So I want to put it all together and have give folks an opportunity to get information over to me. You can reach me with any information at politicwithfred@gmail.com. That's politicwithfred@gmail.com. I've been speaking a lot about the Mike Breen and the Nader Sage race for assembly. There's a lot going on there. Actually, Mike Cater. I'm sorry, not Cater. Mike Cater. I was actually speaking about Mike Cater earlier today. Folks, I don't know what's going on with Mike Cater. All right, I don't speak to him often, but I do get asked how he's doing quite often by folks. I don't really necessarily know. I'm assuming he's doing good. So there you go. So anyone who wants to ask me in the future, you see me, that's the answer. But someone asked me again today, and I said, I don't know. I'm assuming he's doing all right. But anyway, I want to talk about Mike Breen and the Nader Sage race. That's big. That's what's popping. That's what's going on here in the city of Yonkers. You have a judge race, but there's no opposition there. The judge, Ada Medina, who was appointed by Mayor Spano, some say was kind of just grabbed out of thin air. But according to sources, no, her stepfather, who is a member, who's Jordanian, a member of the Jordanian community, is very well acquainted with Mr. Zahi Jeris, big time, right? Big time Democratic, just a political operative. He operates on both parties, in and out of both parties. So yeah, that's how her name came about. So I doubt anyone's going to be challenging her. I have been hearing about her stepdad going around requesting checks for donations. Some of the members of the Jordanian community unsure of what's going on. Maybe should they be writing checks? Sometimes people feel, today's kind of just like, let's talk about different things. All right. So if you want to comment, if you want to ask me any questions, if you want to comment, you want to give complaint, that's fine. But, people feel the need oftentimes to write checks, right? Because especially if somebody comes to you, right? I remember when I first started to meet the elected officials, it kind of happened right after we did made an appearance. My wife and I, our daycare was on Telemundo, Channel 47, Spanish news network. That's very big. And, we had done News 12, and then they came over to us and I knew what it was about. People were wanting checks, inviting me to events, right? And so this is like a common thing here, when it comes to politics here. People want checks. These elected officials, or these candidates, I should say, they look for money. It's all about raising money, 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 money. And sometimes people feel pressure, right? They come to you, they invite you to stuff. And then, especially if you're working and you're in the middle of getting a permit or something, if you're a business owner, or even if you're doing home renovations, something, and you feel pressure. You feel like maybe you need to go and write a check, right? And you shouldn't have to have that, pressure. And I very recently spoke about a woman, single mother over on the Southeast side, doing some work on her business, and then on Saturday and that following Monday, she had the building inspectors there, pretty much shaking her down, according to sources. She ended up paying $2,500 just to get her permits expedited, right? And she was able to get to work again. Now, mind you, I'm going about it the right way, so I'm still waiting on my permits. I'm not paying $2,500. So, this is a common thing, a way for individuals to raise money. So let's say you are, interested in politics. You want to set up a campaign finance firm, whatever, management. You put candidates out to run. You do fundraisers, and you generate a lot of money. If you're someone that's well connected, that knows a lot of people with money, you will get people there to write checks. But the problem is how are you going about that? Very recently, Mike Breen was criticized in the Yonkers Tribune for his Bagels with Breen fundraiser. Well, I don't know if that was a fundraiser, but that was a kind of like get to meet Mike Breen, but also sign a petition. We need your signature, right? And some people saying that's not all the, really the right thing to do. The Yonkers Tribune jumped on it right away. Of course, he's on Team Nader, 1,000%. He's a weapon that Zahi Jeris has in his arsenal. So he jumped on it. But all of them have done that. All of them have done some kind of event, disguising it as something else and getting people to, sign petitions. And I hear even change parties. Right. So I remember I went to an event that was supposed to be a voter registration drive, but I felt like it was more of a campaign, event. People were promoting themselves. Right. I remember you had the Westchester County DA, Mimi Roca, there promoting herself. Congressman Bowman was there. Right. Mike Cater was there. Speaking of Cater, excuse me, my allergies, I get runny nose. But who else was there? Vera Shako, she's a city court judge. She was there, right? So, they come out. They come out when they want a campaign and they want checks and they want you to notice them and they want your votes, and then they disappear until the next time comes around to get your vote. And that's why you have Bagels with Breen now. Any of you guys go or are going? Or I don't even know if it happened. Bagels with Breen. So, this happens quite often. And I remember that event, it was supposed to be a voter registration drive. So the city was funding that. We were funding it. Us taxpayers, right? And so they were paying for police to be there. It was a Sunday, I believe. And I had parked in the parking lot behind City Hall. So I was done with the event. I'm leaving with my kids. I was like, yeah, they just promoting themselves. I walk up the stairs. I go to bark. And what do I see? I see a bunch of police officers chilling. And I'm not trying to listen. Guys, hey, do you. But I'm just saying, right? So taxpayers were paying this money, for what? For these elected officials. So, you have to understand what it's all about. And this is why I do basement politics, to put that out there. And I know people are saying, Freddy, man, he's saying some stuff that, we think, but we don't say. And I get it. I understand. I'm not saying that you guys are, suckers. No, I'm kidding, but I understand you have businesses, right? And you have reasons to be concerned, and legitimate reasons, because I've heard stories from people, right? They wanted to run, decided not to. Had a good idea. No. Right? Or had issues, but didn't even want to present it to anyone because they wanted to remain quiet. And this is something also that happens within the Hispanic community. And, I'm going there because there was a letter or announcement posted by the Yonkers NAACP. They're going to be, gathering and over there at the Unity Fountain, because they are upset that the mayor will not meet with them. I guess they want to meet, and Hispanics, we're a bit different, right? We like to lay low. A lot of Hispanics don't want to cause any problems. They don't. We're almost 90,000 members of the community in Yonkers. That's almost half of the entire population of the city of Yonkers. Yet we are not putting out letters like that, like the Yonkers NAACP. And the Yonkers NAACP represents all minorities, I would imagine. They fight for civil liberties of everyone. But they they're predominantly fighting for the rights of Black Americans, Black residents of the city of Yonkers, which is a much smaller percentage than that of the Hispanic. But we just chill. A lot of Hispanics don't want to make noise. There's a language barriers. They don't always understand, how to navigate the system, right? So, and this is one thing that I'm working on and working with individuals, to kind of start to organize that, become a voice just as strong as a voice as the Yonkers NAACP. They put a letter out. Mayor, you're not going to meet with us. We're going to protest over there at Unity Fountain. But, I did see Keisha Skipper. Weren't you at Unity Fountain the other day by the steps of City Hall? You were there when they were talking about the Asian American woman that was brutally beaten. I'm going to say that, brutally beaten as she entered her foyer over there in the Ludlow Park section of Yonkers. You didn't speak to him then. You had an opportunity. You should spoke to him. Sometimes you got to guerrilla style it, and that's probably why they scatter when they see Freddy Vazquez, because I'm guerrilla tactics, Listen, you don't wait for meetings. We had the meeting here now. Let's go. And I thought that was an opportunity. Maybe, you want to do it a different way, but we have to hold our elected officials, accountable, hold their feet to the fire, and not be afraid to right there. Let's go. I'm going to ask you these questions, not like fighting. Like, I'm going to ask you these questions right here. And, if we have questions that we feel that you should answer. That's, again, what basement politics does. I try to put that transparency out there. I try to show these things, the waiting in line. Do you know about the waiting in line? And let me recap some of this stuff, because I mentioned some of this stuff early on. A lot of people weren't really watching at that point, but more people are watching now. The waiting in line is this thing where, excuse me as I adjust my earpiece here, is this whole system here in Yonkers. So you think that you're going to want to just run for office, right? And you're going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to run for city council because I think they're not doing a good job and I think I can do a better job. I'm just going to enter the race. And you're going to enter the race and be successful. Your chances of actually being successful are probably slim to none. And I'll tell you why. But that's not impossible, but I'll tell you why. Because there is a line system here in the city, right? I don't know if it exists on the county side. It may, where individuals have to pay their dues and then they're tapped to run, right? Or unless they're just someone that they believe, wow, this guy or this woman could be amazing. We need to get this person to run. They'll put you right away, but you pay your dues. And then they start you off by appointing you to positions within the city, right? You might go over to the Board of Education, might be, the school board. You might go over to Macy. You know what I'm saying? You go to do the zoning or the planning board, the downtown bid. By the way, that Sarah woman that spoke, I believe, on behalf of downtown bid, I did some research. Your husband is Ira. I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so you get appointed to different committees and stuff to kind of groom you, right? And so John Rubo was the golden boy. He was being groomed to become the mayor, but that's really changed a lot lately. Since the last election. I mean, when he didn't do too well against Carlos Burgos, that started to get those that say you have to waiting in line to start to think maybe he's not the golden boy, right? And so I can see that Rubo is really fighting hard to remain the golden boy because he wants to be mayor. Some people like to be the puppet, right? And others, they're the puppet masters. They're not trying to be out in the front. They don't need to shine. They don't need to be the mayor. They are the king. They are the king and they run everything. They run the mayor, right? But, Rubo, he wants to be there. You got a lot of the others that want to be political, look at me, I'm an elected official. And so he wants to be mayor. But you're showing your performance against Carlos Burgos, a virtually unknown, politically unknown. And we gave you a run for the developer's money. Right? He did. And so now that's changed a lot. And so they've been looking at other candidates, So again, it's a waiting in line system. It's very rare that someone comes out of nowhere and decides they're going to run and they're going to win, especially when we're talking about the seat for mayor. Now, I've been saying that the person that we elect, and I say we because we are going to elect this person, has to be an individual that's not from the establishment, that's not someone that's been in politics, whether in the county side or on, the locals here in the city, even in the state. Even in the state, you have to understand, folks, this whole system has been running for so long. These guys all know girls too, girls and guys all know each other. It's a girls and boys, good old boys and girls club, and most of us ain't in it. Most of us ain't in it, and we'll never be in it, right? And this goes all the way on the national level too. And I just want people to really understand what it's really about. Sometimes people have these, I don't want to say naive, I don't want to insult anyone, but these notions of how politics are, these, perceived, these perceptions of it, how it really is when it's not. It's just truly not, folks. And these individuals, and I don't want to generalize, but many of these individuals are just not good people. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to bust your bubble if you thought they were. And I don't want to generalize, not saying all, but many of them are egotistical and agenda driven, right? And they want to freaking win so bad. And there's one person in particular. Oh my goodness. Like I don't like to dislike people, right? I mean, because I just think that's too much energy. But this person it's just something about this person, right? And you can just tell whenever I see them in the room, they just always want to be seen. My goodness. And so they're currently running for a position, and it's just and the crazy thing is that person was told to wait in line. I said she, damn it. I was trying not to give away the gender. That person was told to wait in line by someone very close to them. It's not your turn. They were discouraged from running because it wasn't your turn. You were next in line, and they knew that would be a mistake. Maybe it was a good advice, but that's just the way it is. So, that's how it is here. So when you see people who are elected, that was something that was thought of for a while now, right? And things are done like, for example, in the race over for the 4th district with Councilman Rubo and Maeve Scott. Anyway, but I know you ran against John Rubel initially. But anyway, John Rubel in that race, after he beat Carlos Burgos in the primaries, right? He had we didn't know who he had in the general election because the person didn't even attempt to let themselves be known. But eventually I found out who it was. We found out who it was. And it was the sister of the big time realtor, Mr. Sell New York, Henry D. John Balaj, who took on the working family line basically to clog it up so nobody would get that line. And then who's the Republican? Because they work together. So the Republicans say, okay, we won't put anyone, Democrats, you got that, and sometimes they'll give them something, but they work together. The Republicrats, that's really what it is. It's really the Republicrats versus the people. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. So, that person and just did that so Rubo could just have it a free reign. Just so you can just go in and no one can challenge it. And Carlos couldn't come back in the general election with using, under the working party, the working family line, and probably would have won. And probably would have won. And Carlos, you should have listened to me. I'm sure you should listen to other people who've told you, come out swinging from Jump Street. You gotta expose it from Jump Street. And you were too soft, Carlos. You were too soft in the beginning. And the same with Mike Cater. Cater was too soft. He should have showed him, bam, because he's got it. He's got the proof that he did nothing wrong. I seen it. I can tell you all day, 1,000%, that the investigation into Mike Cater is political, nonsense. It's political, war or whatever you want to call it. That's stuff that's going on between individuals who just wanted Mike Cater out. Again, this all goes to the mayor, election, the mayor's race. So you should have just showed it, Mike. You should have just showed it. You would have made them look like a fool, and to the city council president, what I say to you is that you should have condemned it. I should say, said that you weren't condoning it and been public about it, because when it comes out that it was all nonsense, whether you were a part of it or not, you didn't say it was wrong. And now, who the people behind, I'm saying, the scenes was involved in it. What's up, and so that's going to be tied to you. So that takes away from your credibility. And I'm only saying this because you're a sister, and I want to see you win. I do. It was a tough one between you and Mike Cater. I didn't want to like choose sides. I want to see you win, but you have to understand the individuals behind the scenes could be the downfall. That's like the old the ball and chain thing. It's going to drag you down. You know what I mean? And you don't want that to happen. So just be careful there. But I know you're independent, strong, and that's I hear, and be careful because I hear that they're not feeling you because of that. And so just be careful. You see how that guy, did to his own cousin. You know what I mean? And so that eventually is going to come out to have been a bunch of lies. And then, Liam McLaughlin had it out for Mike Cater. So all that's going to come out. And that's how politics is. That's really what it's about. They don't care. I mean, look, I don't want to generalize, but for the most part, Tasha, where is the new proposal? Right? If you cared about the people so much like you say you do, where is the new proposal? Where is the proposal for housing? What are you doing? What are you talking about? The segregated housing that they're building? What is this? 1988 all over again here? Like we're in the 80s again because all the housing are being segregated. Why aren't you fighting, O Corazon? Why aren't you fighting for them to put affordable housing over there, more affordable housing units in that Ludlow plan? Right? So where's the new proposal? You all said it was needed. Every last one of you who supported it. Tasha Diaz, you supported it hardcore. Shanae, that was your baby. That was your baby. Goo goo gaga. Did you change his diaper? Because it's stinky now. It's stinky. Your baby's stinking. Okay? You didn't present a new baby. All right? You just threw that baby out with the wash or whatever you could say that, right? You didn't present nothing else in its place. So at this point, it doesn't look like anything other than you guys were playing political games. And you did that to play with the people and to get Cater out and all that other stuff. The developers didn't want you guys to pass that. You know that. You know that. You guys knew that. They didn't want you guys to pass that. So you weren't going to pass it. But you know, pulled the people, along. You strung them along, right? And then yeah, did that funny business. Zahi, was that your plan? Frankie? That yeah, did that funny business. All of a sudden, it's not John. John flip flop from day one. He's a chancleta. Tasha Diaz, you're a chancleta now too. You're a flip flopper. You're a flip flop. And that was it's obvious by now. It's obvious. It's obvious. And then you became the majority leader. I mean, if you have something inside your skull that's operating, and I'm not trying to insult anyone, and maybe, maybe I have to come off that way sometimes. I apologize. I do. But I'm just saying, I mean, it's so damn obvious, So she didn't present anything. Shanae didn't present anything. Corazon hasn't presented anything. What have they done? And by the way, that freaking community center up there on top of Elm Street, it's not even open, but you guys said it was. You lied. You lied. You lied. That thing is still under construction. $1 million. $1 million went into that thing. And it's still under construction over there by the church. Or maybe it's not the church. It's not a church anymore. It used to be a church. Right? That's nonsense. And then you guys built the is it a mixed low income affordable housing thing just right next to it? But people are getting shot over there. The whole point of the housing ordinance was to allow those who are, qualify for affordable housing not to live in the hood where they're going to get shot. Tasha, you threw in a bunch of other nonsense there. And you confused the hell out of people because either you don't know what you're talking about or you're lying. Pick one. Pick one. Neither one is flattering. Neither one is flattering, but you may not know that. But it's unbelievable, and poor my guy Tim Hodges. They did him dirty. I like Tim Hodges a lot. You know who I like a lot. I like Vinny. I met Vinny Spano. I like Vinny. He's a good guy. I don't know. I like him a lot. I'll be honest. I do. Uh, he's a likable guy. Haven't really fully officially met Zahi. We did the eye contact at Tasha Diaz's event. But I like the city council president, super cool. I like her a lot. Corazon, we smile at each other every time. I saw her this past Sunday. But what do you come on, guys? You're Latinos, you're black. Well, come on. You know what I'm saying. You know where I'm coming from. You damn well better know where I'm coming from because I done, made it very clear. Made it very clear, what are you guys really doing? And a lot of what you're doing is you're helping Yonkers get bought up and divided up and changed up and more traffic and more pollution and more crowds and nothing beneficial for the overall city, for the people. And wait till they make that pier area private. Wait till those movie people don't want you to go down there anymore. All right. And that's gonna come too. It's only a matter of time. So it's just what's really going on here in politics, and that's why I've started this podcast, Basement Politics. I'm not here to make enemies. This is why I want to kind of clear up. Let's get over the hump. Let's kind of clear things up. I'm not here to make enemies. Shout out to Patricia from We Are One. I spoke with her yesterday. I hope I got your name. I get the name right. I'm sorry. I'm bad. I hit my head as a baby and I don't remember things. But and we had a great conversation. I want to do a lot of things here. And I'm very misunderstood. And people that know me well know that I'm really, very misunderstood. So I'm not looking to, fight with anyone, but I'm going to call it out. I'm gonna call it out. I don't deal in BS. I don't. It's not me. So I'm gonna call it out. I don't deal in the fakeness, hate it or love it. And that's what I'm here for, and I'm exposing all of it. It doesn't matter if it's within community organizations, because at the end of the day, if you're just taking money doing nothing, you were part of the problem, and I'm gonna call you out. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out. That's right. And so that's what I do basement politics for, to talk about things like when a specific council member had his mom. I don't know what she was. She must have the good gift of gab, because she convinced some members of the community over there on their part of town, right, to go ahead and sign a petition in approval of something that they didn't want happening. Right. So now this business is gonna get this a variance approved, because there's certain people on the planning board and then certain individuals on the real estate committee. Moms is going and knocking on doors, getting signatures. Is that not quid quo pro? Is that not quid quo pro? I'll break it down. Let's do layman's terms, right? So let's say I own a business, right? And I want to change the business. It's a gas station, and I want to make it retail shops, right? Because they don't need no garages, it's a mechanic shop. But the city won't let me do it. So I donate to the campaign of the council member of that district multiple times, right? And then I guess my donations were so great that he got his mom to go and convince the people that were opposing my idea in the community. All but two of them. Two still held their, held on strong, weren't going to waver. No, not everyone. Not everyone's for sale, including me. I've never had a for sale sign on my ass. So she goes and does this and miraculously pulls it off. All but two. And now they're approving this. And he spoke about it like, oh, yeah, and I think this is a great thing. Yeah, it's a great thing when you get money in your campaign. And you're going to probably continue to get money in your campaign now, because the guy forever owes you. And so I want to check out those leases. Were they renewed? Were they revised? And are they less than what you were paying before? Is that a pandemic special? So there's quid pro quo going on. Like, I mean, you would not believe. In the fact that Mr. Liam McLaughlin, who I just found out his mom spearheaded segregation here in the city. Liam McLaughlin is the Yonkers Inspector General. She spearheaded segregation in the city. She didn't care if the city of Yonkers was being sued and had to pay all this money, bankrupting the city, ultimately affecting the folks who are poor in the city, because they get the, oh, we cutting your stuff now. We're gonna cut everything, cutting all programs now, because we got to pay this money, this lawsuit, this fines that we were getting every day, because a group of racists did not want to segregate the city of Yonkers. I'm sorry, desegregate the city of Yonkers. They wanted to keep it segregated. And you know what? It looks like it's happening again with the help of people that are darker than me. So, that's what's going on. So wake up, wake up to those who are still asleep. Many of you understand what's going on, and many of you are starting to give me information, more and more information. I appreciate it, and I think it's time to start to, put it all out there. It's the age of light. If you follow that stuff, is the age of light. We absolutely are in the age of light. The next is going to be the age of love. And that's when, after everything is exposed and we fix all this shit that's going on, you know what I'm saying? Not just here in the city of Yonkers, but in this country. I mean, we have to start to realize that these politicians, frankly, don't care about us. They don't. And it's all about looking good. You got to see. I mean, the individual I was talking about that's running for that position, and she wants to be seen. And one time, this pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie. She wanted me to take a picture, and I guess it wasn't fucking good enough. And I'm gonna say the word because it was so annoying, yo. It wasn't good enough. Excuse me, I'm not a professional photographer, nor am I your photographer, nor were you paying me to take pictures of you. And it didn't matter how it took it or who took it. It was going to look the same. Not very flattering. So, like, how do you just treat people like that? Like, I was a servant. I didn't go to that event to fucking, excuse me, to take. Yeah, that's how it got me, right? It got me that upset to take pictures of you, right? Oh, take it from up here. Do this angle. Get out of here. You know what I mean? So are you wanting to be in this, to be elected to do right by society, or you just want to be seen and say, look at me with your big license plate on your damn shirt? Why do you guys wear them damn license plates? They look stupid. Jeez. You'd rather put a hello, my name is sticker. That'll look a lot better than freaking big ass license plates. And then, and listen, those races are not impartial. They're not free of any controversy, free from any corruption. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, there's corruption operating now within city court judges' races. People are raising money for what? For who? For who? Is that how you pay for your Olympic-sized pool? $200,000 pool? How do you have a $200,000 pool? I can get you a nice one for maybe 20, 30 grand. I'll do it for you. 200,000? So is that how you pay for it? You go around and you got guys, give me checks, dividing up the Jordanian community, dividing up the Hispanic community, right? Keeping the black community down. That's what's been happening here, folks, in the city of Yonkers. And I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics, and I'm just here to expose it. I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to bring transparency. And the only ones that don't like it are the ones that are involved in it. It's quite obvious. It's very obvious. Why else would you have a problem with what I'm saying? I mean, we have drug
Fatality. Freddy wins. Fatality. Freddy wins. Fatality. Freddy wins. Fatality. Freddy wins. Fatality. Freddy wins.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Like I said, political games that are being played.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Like I said, political games that are being played. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers Public Schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No!